And with that, just a few things to explain there. So as you know, the EDA did give Elite a loan back in 2016 in the amount of $90,000. Since then, a good portion of that loan has been paid off over the years. And over the time that has passed since the EDA has given out that loan, Elite has asked for additional funds from MBT Bank. But currently, right now, the EDA's mortgage lien on the property at 301 5th Street Southeast, it is in first position. So that means, of course, that if there were to be a foreclosure on the property, the EDA would be the first to get any funds that happened in the event that that would happen, and then other lenders would be after that. So fast forward to today, Elite is asking for an operating line of credit in the amount of $475,000. In addition, it would be from MBT Bank. However, with that, there's a request for subordination, which I've also included in your packets for review. And the way it's written is that if the EDA were to agree to this subordination agreement, it would move the EDA's mortgage lien from its current first position down behind the existing loans that Elite has with MBT Bank, in addition to the up to $475,000 as a line of credit. So just around $747,000 up to that amount would be ahead of the EDA's position. And so we have Joe Lonzo here, president of Elite, who was able to join us here at our meeting today. He's available to answer any questions that the EDA may have. I suppose, let's see, I did lay out a few different options that the EDA could consider. I guess I was hoping that Mr. Lonzo would be able to share perhaps more of his plans going forward for the business. Maybe, I know it's an operating line of credit, but perhaps if more could be shared in that respect, I think it would help everyone here at this meeting just to kind of understand the situation a bit better. And let's see.
Do you want me to just kind of
that would be, you could explain everything.
Okay. So 10 years ago, come in, get kind of like a bridge loan from the EDA at the time of purchasing the building, moved the business to Casson. Bought the building for $300,000. EDA put up $90,000. The other $210,000 was financed through the trust that was selling me the building. Trust turns over to Bremer Bank. I go to MBT. We get the note out of there. At that time, the EDA was asked to stay in second place. That you guys agreed to that. Second place, MBT came in. They were in first place on the balance of that 210. Then a few years later, have a fire, total loss, take the payment. First thing I did, paid off MBT. Put you guys into first position because you were the only people, had the only note against the building. Rebuild the building and continue moving my business forward. Elite Marketing just doesn't own that building. It owns several properties across several states. So we have equity in that building, right? We rebuild the building. We got a MIMS report on it of like just shy of 1.2 million. Only note against it at the time was at that time I think it was $60-some thousand. So when I went to MBT to pull equity out of that building to go in on another property, they were fine with just continuing it forward in the second position, because it's over $1 million building and it was a couple $100,000 at the time. So they never put forward to ask you to move back to second position. I'm trying to grow that business. I'd like to retire someday. And the fastest way for me to do that is by acquiring more properties. As most of you probably know, when it's a business making a transaction, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that approval for a note from a bank. You gotta wait around for an appraiser to get their appraisal done. Sometimes that's 6 weeks, sometimes that's 10, just depending upon if the person wants to get off their thumbs or not. And then the bank side of things, they have meetings about it and they talk about it and they beat a dead snake with a stick, and next thing you know the deal falls through because you're waiting around for funding. Happens all the time. With a line of credit, deal comes up, I can strike a check, I own it, I then bring it to MBT, then they can go through that whole entire dance because I own the building already, and they can pay me back on that. Now that note goes against the building that was purchased, and I can take and pay off that line of credit. It's just an operating line of credit. I can't escape the world on $700,000, right? It's not enough for me to take off to Mexico or something. So the bank is asking for you guys to just position yourself back into second place on it. I know that the concern originally was somebody's comment about the valuation of the property. Well, they're not a real estate broker. They're not an appraiser. Their recommendation was probably coming from looking at tax valuations of things. Well, I'm glad that my tax valuation is not what my market value could be if I sell, right? As everybody probably wants their personal property to be that way. But yeah, it's a safe piece. I think and I'd like to get the EDA to give me an updated AM schedule of where they're at with the payments that I've made, so that I know what that exact balance is. I know when we had talked, the most recent one that you had was 56. It doesn't match what I have, so I'd just like to know how that lays out on that. But yeah, I'm just asking you guys to move into second position so that I can get this deal done with my bank, so that I can continue moving forward with building a very small real estate empire. So that's the request. I'm not pulling all this money out of that property. I'm literally just making sure that I have options available to me when things come up. That's it. This started just so that you guys are aware, because I'm sure the email. So my banker that I am working with is not Tom. So, I know you were talking about staying out of that conversation, but the reality of it is that my banker left the bank and I started this endeavor in April. So, when the ball got dropped on other people's end, I think they tried to smash things through. So the original email to you guys did not explain what it was. It was just hey, sign this.
Yeah.
No explanation, no nothing. So I apologize from the lack of communication on that end. I am next door. All of you can get my cell number and just, if you got a question, just give me a call, because I literally have been trying to get this done since April, and I had to wait for this meeting, and the email went out before, like in the beginning of July, requesting it, and I understand that we had to have this discussion and answer some questions, but it's been killing me. Like, I've missed 2 deals so far that I could have gotten that have just fallen through the cracks because of timing. So I'd like to get this done if you guys would be so inclined.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate all the information that you shared with us.
Was that, was that Don? Was that Don? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of his style.
And Don's also the one who did the other deal.
Sure.
Where he didn't ask for them to subordinate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because it would have been, technically, it should have been asked 2 years ago or whatever when that original one went through, but he felt as though there was plenty of equity, so he didn't really care. And I mean, he should have, but here we are.
Well, to make you feel better, I think in a technical sense, even if we had done it at that time, to add new money in front of a second position, you still would have ended up back asking for subordination
okay.
again. So we would have been here today anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say that Don is kind of a bull in a china shop, no matter where he goes. So that's not shocking. But okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of questions do you guys have?
I know the city attorney, when you reached out to her, Ian, she was disinclined to recommend to take the 3rd position. So I know Ian does have that in here, that possibly an option would be to take a second position behind the 272 and then, but still be ahead of the 475 letter of credit or line of credit, which would have been where we would have been anyways. So potentially.
I mean, I think it's like, well, like if I put, like obviously like MBT wants area if I have my banker hat on, but it's like if I'm having my EDA hat on, it is kind of like, well, what advantage is there to the city to do that, right? Like it significantly changes our position into a riskier position, right? Which is what the bank is mitigating against. I think the helpful thing is, I mean, it's a gap program, and we've got a guy that wants to, grow his business, right? That's our resident, so that's nice to do. And I think, I guess I would want, especially if we're taking on a position where we have a higher, we're further back in line, I would want a copy of the valuation. I don't know if did we get that?
I have the MIMS. I didn't share it, but
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah, so I would want that on record. I like the point of having, in the case of an operating line of credit like this, I will say like a sources and uses statement will be, it won't really make a lot of, basically all it's going to do is just say, we have this amount available to advance. Like it won't, I don't know if it'll provide a lot of like you could get it, but I don't think it'll be very helpful, based on what he described. I guess the other question is like, if the bank says, we absolutely need to be in first position, right? Which could very well be a stance that I could see MBT taking. I guess the question would be like, do we have any like prepayment penalties or anything on our loan? That would be the next question, is just.
If you paid it off.
Yeah, you
Well,
just
that
pay it
was
off.
my question. Why, if it's a smaller amount, are we not paying it off because the interest is low, or?
Bingo.
Right.
Be my assumption.
I can make,
3%.
so right, it's just smart business. I I can, instead of, let's say the balance is 50,000, I can make more money on that 50,000 than what you guys are charging me on the interest of it. So it's just a wise decision. Otherwise, I would have paid it off back when I paid off the other one. But I can make money on that money, you know, like, it's just, that's another thing too, right? Like, I understand you guys taking second position from the bank on all of this. We're discussing risk, right? First of all, a bank like MBT doesn't lend somebody money that's foolish with it, right? Like, it is something that I do understand. I have not, I mean, I need to jump up and knock on all that wood. Even though I've overcome a lot of things with other businesses and fires and so on and so forth, I've made very, very, very smart business decisions. The bank's not going to let me get any of that money for a dumb decision, first of all. And second of all, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make the dumb decision of paying off a loan that's, what is it, 2.5%?
I think it's 3%.
3%. Like,
But I mean, I guess that would be the point, right? If we want to take a position that's further down, then why wouldn't we have him pay that loan off, and then we could even give him another loan for the similar amount? That would put us in third position, but it'd be a higher interest rate then, because we're taking more risk then, right? Because we're taking a lower position.
Because you got to look in our
I'm not
spot.
concerned about, I mean, repayment, I'm sure that we want to support the business, that's great. I mean, I'm not worried about the actual loan principal, but I just think if we're going to take a lower position where there's more risk, we would want a higher rate of return. I mean, that makes sense.
You got to look in our spot. It's not our money.
yes.
It's the city's taxpayers' money
Yeah.
that we're lending, and we've just got, basically, I might as well say it, screwed over in this last deal because a business went broke. Not saying you're gonna,
Oh,
but
okay.
when
I didn't know what, I wasn't aware of any of that.
so when we have a loan out, and then we will probably never see that money back. So,
Sure.
right, as much as we want to, we got moved down. So as soon as
Subordinated to a couple of
we got subordinated below bigger amounts, and then now we're a little gun shy of wanting to.
Sure.
No, and it is nothing personal. It's nothing. That's why we want to see more documents. And
I just think, I mean,
but
I think if we're
I
going
like Tim's idea.
Yeah, if we're going to subordinate, then, I mean, we can
We
do
need a little-
loan. I mean, I don't want to put him out, but I
No.
mean, it would be,
Price
it would be a return for us that's going to be better for the risk profile. Because, I mean, circumstances obviously have changed. Interest rates 10
Have
years
changed.
ago were far different,
Yes.
than were.
Price for last year.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we can work with it. I think that might be the solution, is if they absolutely need us to take the third spot, which I guess that'd be the question, because otherwise I'd be comfortable, like, if we went to that compromise
Second
where
again.
we were second behind the 272, but we were still ahead of the.
Which-
They're going to roll this into one thing.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be treated separately, but they're,
So then
they want entire.
So, yeah,
first.
so I mean, I think that would be the way to go then, but if he really wants us to be in that position, then pay the loan off, we can reissue a similar size loan with a different interest rate, they can take the third position or whatever position it is. And then, I mean, to me at least, that'd be the solution I can see, where I could say, to the rest of the council, I can say, hey, we're protecting your investment of dollars by having a higher interest rate, greater rate of return on this than we would if we were, he's talking about
Yes.
arbitraging money, which is good for him, not as good for the taxpayers, so.
Yeah, but I'd like to point out that prime was about the same when I took that note, and that was the deal. So your interest rate that you guys decided back then, prime was about the same as it is today.
When was this millwork one done?
2016.
2016.
Okay. Yeah, it would have been about 6.25, I think, at that time.
So I understand, the EDA wanting to make more money because I just divulged that that's what I'm doing, but,
Well, and it's not even necessarily about making the money, as we just want to make sure that we get the taxpayer money back to keep reinvesting.
sure.
If we move down and anything possible, you said, it can happen,
Yeah,
well, then we don't have any left now to be lending to the next business to help them out in that shortfall.
yeah, that's true.
And that's what our ultimate goal is, always to help somebody start out and then make them successful, so where they keep going, and then to be paid back and then to help the next one.
Yeah.
So that's where we're kind of in that. So if we
Yeah.
take a third or, get way behind value-wise, I mean, granted, your property's worth it, but it still puts us in that little more of a risk, and we have nothing left to lend out. So we're trying to make it fair for everybody.
Yeah.
And like I said, before the meeting even started, I did say, I'd like to have the whole board here before we made any kind of decision. We barely had a quorum today just due to the circumstances, but I'd like to hear from everybody and make sure we got the input of everybody and to make it a fair decision too. But
I mean, it sounds like for you, something that's important is time, right?
No.
Timing. So, yeah. I mean, if we did, I mean, just like what are you, let's just talk through a scenario of we subordinate, let's say we subordinate down and we change our interest rate. I mean, like what kind of pricing are you guys envisioning?
Well, I'm just looking at this today, so I don't have anything
Yeah, I know.
envisioned. I'd have to look at what kind of rates are being offered right now,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, well, I mean, Wall Street Prime's at 6.75 today.
right?
If you're talking about kind of a fixed term, what's our amortization on it? Like, what's the schedule?
I don't know, he'd probably be looking for that. What does he still have, 5 years left?
How many?
He's still got 10 years left on his regular loan.
Okay, so it's like a 10-year.
36, yeah,
10-year
10
thing.
more years left.
I mean, I think
We're
if you're
halfway
doing
through.
if you're a 10-year fixed, you're, or if it was a 10-year AM with say like a 5-year adjustment or something, you'd probably be in probably between 6.5 and 7, low 7s, depending on the arrangement. If you're going to a bank, right? I mean, I think historically the EDA, I think, has generally been slightly under market pricing, just given the nature
Yeah,
of
that's what we do.
the nature of what, like we don't pay income tax on it and stuff like that, like a bank would usually price in. So that's still, that's still, usually we, if you do a tax exempt equivalent, you usually multiply it by 0.7, so you're gonna land at if you took if you took Wall Street Prime at 6.75, you did a tax exempt equivalent of that at 0.7, you're whatever.
4.8
4.8 is what that would be, so.
without digging the calculator out. But
Well, I don't know, that'd be how I would go through the math.
Sure.
I guess, and then if you land at, 4.8 or whatever, then you would say, well, that's, we feel like, matches, and then if you say, well, that we want a risk premium of a quarter point or something, that'd land you basically would
5.
be at 5,
Sure.
right? So that.
Well, I think something like that along those lines would probably be more amenable. I mean, I would expect.
You get you get a 2% adjustment now. I mean, that's a slight. I mean that is going to change your calculus in terms of like, well, you've got,
It's gonna change a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Not just this deal.
yeah,
Change a lot of things.
yeah, your arbitrage would be
Well, my relationship with this city
Yeah.
and the EDA,
right.
like,
Yeah,
you
because
guys were in second place to begin with
Right.
at 3%. That was a number that you guys brought forward. We're halfway through this deal, and now, because I'm asking to just keep going, now there's what we can make more money for the taxpayers. Like, I get it. Greed's a beautiful thing, and we all need to have it to some degree, but like, I'm just asking you to be in the same position that you were in before. Just keep everything the same. Let me keep building. Let me keep growing. But if we're gonna do this and now my 3% is gonna be 5%, I'd rather give my 5% to the bank and just remember that we had this meeting,
Okay, well, your spread lowers, right? So then it's like, why not clean it up and have
Yeah.
one person work?
And the bank gives me better than prime, so.
Yeah, yeah, so if you're at, then your margin lowers. I mean, I think it sounds like the most important thing to you right now, I mean, is probably getting a sooner vote. I mean, I think no matter what we do, it's a recommendation though, right, to council?
Yeah, it would have to
It
go.
requires a council vote, right? Like, that's just what it is. I mean, yeah, and there's no ability to, to split the difference there. Well, I don't know. No matter what the math works out to, I feel like I should abstain because obviously as the bank, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll knock the rate down and put them in the bottom, go all the way down. We'll be in last position. So obviously that's not fair to, and then if I'm on the other side and I say, well, we should do something more, that's obviously disadvantage it to the bank, and I can't do that either. So I'm out of this one, but I think the math. Usually whatever, I know that when we calculate tax exempt interest rates, we usually do it on a factor of 0.7. Is like the math works out to a slightly different adjustment, but that's usually the calculus we use is 0.7. So if you said that, anyway, that's the factor we would apply in a case where we're not paying taxes on something, which would be this part of the reason the city's able to get under market rate interest rates in these kind of programs. So,
Well, it's up to you as a board. Whatever you recommend, that's certainly where we'll go with it. I can see different options, so.
I think,
Any input from you two?
Just chewing on it still. I can see both sides, and obviously want to protect taxpayers in the city, but I get where you're coming from too as well. I mean, you're kind of in a pickle as well. I guess my question is, I know the timing's tight. How tight is it? Do we need the answer for you at this moment? You know what I mean?
I came to this meeting to hopefully get that,
Okay.
to have that happen.
That's fair.
We tried to get the signature in the beginning of July before I went on vacation to get this deal done. Like I said, this thing started in April on something in particular, and it's like I keep having to put it off and put it off and put it off, and it's by no one's fault other than the original person that was working on it. The only thing is that I'm in the throes of it because I'm trying to work a deal, but I gotta have the financing set up, and I gotta, so, yeah, I would prefer that. At the very least, if we have an idea of where it's going, then I can leave this meeting and go have a conversation with my banker, and hopefully shortly after, if you can give me that Ian, so that it shows us where we lay out, and then I'll be able to really know where I'm at. Like, honestly, like I thought that there was a chance that it would swing, the conversation would swing this way, and I was just going to bring my checkbook because it's concerning to me that this is the direction of the conversation, to be honest with you. Like, I thought that this was just going to be like, okay, hey, here's where we're at, this is what I'm doing with it, I'm not leaving the country with it, I'm not, you know what I mean, it's a line of credit, it's just to make deals happen faster for my company, that's it. It's an operating line of credit. It's not like I'm pulling all this money and, the bank's not going to extend more than 75% on a commercial building loan to value. The bank does all of their research, that's their job. There's a board that discusses this to approve it. It's already been through all of that. Like, they're not going to put their neck out there for something that is undervalued and overlended. And that also, when they're looking at that, they're also looking at your position in that also, right? they're not just looking at the money that they're lending against it, they're looking at the money that you've already lent against it too. So it's all in that value. We sped up the process by doing a MIMS report instead of a full-blown appraisal. An appraisal would come back higher than that MIMS report. That MIMS report is just a real estate broker doing comps, right, like they put it together. The thing's, I don't know, 1.1 something or other, and that's a MIMS report. So we're nowhere near 75% with your 50-some thousand. So that's why I assumed that this was gonna be fairly smooth, not as in-depth and bumpy as we're going. But I understand. I also live in this town. I pay taxes in this town, a lot of them, on a lot of properties, so I understand. I get you gotta look out for the taxpayers' dollars and everything else. I just don't think that this conversation and where it went is conducive to the business owner. And your job is the Economic Development Authority, not the Citizens, Residential Citizens Taxpayers Association, right? Like, you guys are here for businesses. At least that's what I thought. But this conversation sounds like, oh, we have an opportunity because there's a business in need that's in a hurry that wants to do this. We can snake a couple extra points out of it. Like that's not the direction of the conversation I want to have.
I think broadly speaking, I would say the time, like, because like our next one is foreclosure on a business that we're getting, he also is like, that timing sucks.
Yeah.
'Cause, that's the bigger conversation of like what happens when we go south on a one where we took a subordinated position. So that,
I get that. You guys are gun shy with it, but Ian, have I ever been late with a payment? Never missed a payment, never been late on a payment. You guys did hold back a calendar year because it took me, when we had the fire, it took me a year and a half to get rebuilt, and then at that year and a half, the builder that I had paid filed bankruptcy and took my money and didn't finish the building, and right, so I mean, I've been through a lot also, but the one thing that I don't do is I don't default on things. I don't not pay my bills. So I and worst case scenario, I go flip burgers at Burger King on the corner to make your $499.14 a month payment. Like, I'm not gonna lose my main business location for anything. Now, the concern, like, I call it the Dick Shop, but Swanky's old building that I own, if it was that one, and I'm not operating out of that, and I got a tenant in there, 2 tenants in a row that basically skipped town, owing a bunch of people a bunch of money, and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, a little risky here. My manufacturing business is in that building across the street. Like, it is my lifeline. I'm not losing that building for nothing, I would sell everything I own before I'd lose that building, because that would mean that I am like out. And I know nobody can control the economy, right? I mean, anybody that's been alive and been through 2008 through 2010 understands that, but I've also lived through that too, and I have reserves intentionally just in case that does happen. So it's not like I'm gonna make a choice at any point in time to pay just the bank and not you.
And I'll be transparent too. I mean, I just heard about this 5 days ago. So this conversation we're having is chewing this over as well. You know, it's not like we're set on one path or another. We're just kind of having this conversation.
Yeah.
So just so you're aware as well. But
Yeah, we all got it at the same time.
Yeah. So we're just chewing this over.
Well, and then also Ian was, Ian was asking me questions about it, and I was like, whoa, 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 hold on a second, that's not what's going on. And then I found out last week, I think it was, that when the request got sent to him, it was just a, hey, sign this. There was no explanation, and I'm like, well, no wonder why everybody's a little apprehensive about this. Like, the bank never even really filled him in on anything. They're just asking him to sign this thing. And I was like, no, it's not a loan. It's a loan, but it's not like I'm taking this cash and then running to TI with it or something. It's an operating loan, you know, it's just there to buy and improve real estate. So.
Yeah, I'll just question the timing, because I don't know if we've done this before. I mean, I know, Dan, you wanted everyone's opinion. Can we do something within the next week? Is that something that we can call like a meeting for, or just even online? I don't know how that works typically, but.
It's up to you.
I mean, yeah, we can. Did we get any feed? Of course, they all got the info at the same time
That's
we
what
did.
I'm
So
saying,
I mean,
it's
that's.
kind of thrown at
I mean,
us,
that threw us all off, you know.
When's the city council meeting?
The 19th.
So I'm just trying to see if there's a middle ground here where, you know, we can get it as fast as we can without jumping to a decision.
Yeah, well, no, I know.
Well,
If you wanted to call a special meeting, you know, you have to check with, you know, Albert and Beth, you know, try and get as many people here as you can.
Right.
You know, we'd have to give notice, but.
Like a
you could
3-day
certainly-
notice.
Something you could certainly do before the council meeting occurred, that wouldn't be a problem. I don't know, what do you guys'
But-
calendars look like over the next week or so?
I mean, I can make this work,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
Send out a poll if we want to go.
Yeah, because I mean,
You know, if you're trying to, you know, obviously the time is of the essence to Mr. Alonso.
right. No, and I understand that. We're just.
The city,
And it's like,
two options.
We feel-
on one side, I'm like, well, I started this in April, so
Well,
what's another couple
we
of
just
weeks?
started it
You know, yes,
5 days
I know,
ago.
I know. And,
So-
and that's why I'm like, well, whatever. But I guess the main question becomes is, because I don't want you guys jumping through all kinds of these major hoops and everything and calling special meetings and all this stuff together to discuss moving my rate to 5%. Because if that's going to be in question, then you guys don't have to have any of these special meetings. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just want to know if you guys are going to try to get opinions and gatherings. Are we having a discussion that this thing stays the same? Are we having a discussion that no matter what, things are going to be moving forward with a different look? That's the question that I have, that I would like answered today, so that when I leave here, I can move to my next deal, which would be bothering Ian this afternoon to get me that number, and then having a phone call with my banker. Because when we had the discussion, he was like, why is this such a problem? I said, they have to have a meeting, they have to discuss it, you know, so on and so forth. So it is an option for me just to write you a check and pay it off. I don't want to do that because that hurts me financially, where what you guys are doing isn't hurting you financially and has not hurt you financially. But it is an option on the table for me to do so. So if we're talking about the rate going up and terms changing, then that's all that I need to know. Then you guys don't have to have special meetings or anything like that. We'll just move forward.
How far down is this paid since the original balance?
It was 90,000, so about
30,000.
34,000, or if depending if this number's
It's about approximately 40%.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I will say, like, typically, if somebody's paid down by about half, roughly half, usually you can feel pretty confident they're, like, if they were gonna try and take you, they would have done it earlier when they could have gotten away with more money.
More money, yeah, I agree.
So they're
And I don't think that was ever our idea here, and just so you understand,
I know.
we're just,
Yeah, you gotta have the conversation.
yes. If we don't ask questions, then, you know,
Right.
Because I'm open to both sides, I see
Yeah.
both sides.
I see it.
We're having this conversation in real time, so you're
Yeah,
seeing it.
yeah.
We
No,
have to
I'm-
consider it. It's not that we're going.
I'm just a
down
fly on the
there.
wall right now, just here to answer questions.
it's all the, yeah, it's all the sausage is made.
I don't know if it's going to benefit us to have more people here.
Well, I didn't know. I wanted to make sure everybody had an option to hear it out because we were all thrown at it last minute. So I wanted to make sure.
Maybe to call some kind of special meeting because I don't want to leave you waiting for.
No, yeah. That was kind of where I was stuck. Like,
I'd rather have a fast no than a slow yes, honestly. I think that's more, probably more detrimental, I would say, than,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, where are we at dollars and cents? Well, like, I don't even actually know how much we have available in our loan fund right now. Like, what percentage of our loan fund is tied up in this particular?
I'll pull up the report here.
And to your fast no to a slow yes, we can make a decision today either way. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's still going to go forth to council, and council's going to, and then maybe by then we'll get the chance to see the paperwork that Ian hasn't showed us. Where the council would see it, to see that, make sure that all the numbers fall in line. Because all we saw, we see the one page today, which, by then maybe the councils look at it and the staff's looked at it a little more, and
I mean, I guess, one
the
other
conversation today was, reassuring. That helps.
I think, because I think one other way I could see us looking at it is we say, hey, like, we're based on the size of our fund, because it's the loan fund itself isn't huge, right? So we have kind of this limited dollars out there, right? So I'm not sure I don't remember what percentage this is of the fund.
He's still trying to find it.
But if we say, well, based on a changed risk profile, we're willing to tolerate that on X dollar amount. Like if we're at 50, where are we at again?
56 is what it says here. Yeah.
We said, we would be willing to do that on, whatever. Like say it's, 50,000 or 45, right? You sign a number to it and you say, hey, look, we're willing to subordinate. We want our loan amount at that, and then we stick with whatever interest rate based on, because now we feel like hey, it's a smaller piece of our.
You could leave it at the original rate, is what
you leave it at the original rate, but it's kind of like you do end up making a curtailment essentially, but you didn't do it on the whole thing. You left the majority out, but we feel good like, okay, we've got a little less risk. If we feel like we've moved to a riskier position, which it is, right? That's why the bank wants it, right?
Yeah.
That's why we want it as MBT. So, if we do that, and we say, well, we could tolerate that on X amount, and we get it down to that number. Maybe we feel more, and then we have a little more dollars to lend out to the next guy. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be one other. I guess that's one other scenario that we haven't talked about, and I don't know what that number would be for us. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Did you find this? What the?
Yeah, so it's just on the first page of the financial reports actually.
I don't have the financial. But anyway, yeah. What?
Yeah, I didn't print it out.
Doesn't there? Oh, there's a paper packet there. Maybe it didn't make it all the way over.
See it.
They're in the packet.
We're not in
The financial reports?
I didn't see them.
Yeah.
They were in the email. So what do we got there, Ian? What's the number?
Sorry. Okay. So cash-wise, there's $180,390.70, and then plus the outstanding portion of the elite loan is $55,699.13. So yeah,
It's, it's about a quarter-ish, between 20 and 25% of the total that's in the portfolio.
Right. What did you say? Basically, if it's 230. Yeah, so 230. Yeah, a quarter of 236,000 would be 59,000. Is the number. So I mean, I guess that would be anyway. That would be the one other way that I think you could go about the conversation is say, hey, we're willing to we're willing to tolerate that increased risk, but on a smaller dollar amount up to, which then also at the same time lowers the loan to value, right, that we're taking on. So if you're at, if you're at 56 and you say, well, we're comfortable at 50, that'd be one, I don't know, I don't know what that secret sauce is, but.
Sure. I mean, I would suspect in 2016, I wasn't here, I don't know if you remember, Dan, if you were on the EDA then.
I was.
I mean, 90,000 is probably larger than most of the loans.
That
we
was one of the
typically
biggest
give
loans.
now, right,
But we-
because we're supposed to be a
we
bridge
looked at-
loan, but,
Investment
sure.
for the community, which
Yeah.
it has been an investment.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, now, today, I mean, I guess post-fire rebuild, I mean, it's a vastly improved.
Oh,
product
yeah.
Compared to what it was, right? Like,
So
it's much nicer.
we're saying there's 10 years left on the loan? And right now, so if the original loan was 90,000, if there's 10 years and there's still 55, whatever he said, 56, we're under, you still haven't paid half of it off. You see what I'm saying? So if there was 10 left, it would look a little, if you picked it so it was near the half mark.
Well, with amortization, though, you're
I mean, it's
accruing.
interest,
It does-
interest is in the front end of it.
Yeah,
The
that's
principal will
true.
be
You're
towards
right,
the
you're
second
right.
end of
It
it,
pays
yeah.
off faster.
You're right.
On that back half. I mean, if you took,
I forget that part.
so, anyway,
Yeah.
that was, I mean, and I don't know.
I don't know if it matters if we change the number or not, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really don't think if we're going to move forward, if it's 50,000 or if it's 56,000, I don't, that 6,000 isn't going to make or break a loan, I don't think, in my mind,
I mean, I hope not.
and so.
So I wasn't around here, but I mean, we took the second position originally, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
And if,
And then basically that's what we're going to now, not third, unlike that's the way it listed in our paperwork. That's kind of,
Well, I mean, it is third until they combine that stuff.
right.
that's another question too. I mean, can MBT budge on that? Can we be second still in between those two? They're not gonna move?
No, they won't do that. They're looking at, it's a bank, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard enough to find a bank to go into second position on anything, even
That's fair.
position on the same property. So, they're looking at it like they're treating it. So my loan relationship with the bank is, goes beyond just that building. So, they're looking at it like, okay, we want to, there's a lot against that building. A good portion of my loan relationship with them is attached to that building. So they're looking at within their stance, even though one's a fixed mortgage and then the other one is a line of credit, they want, even though it listed as like 1, 2, and then you guys, not in that order, but let's just say 1, 2, and 3, there's technically 3 notes against the property. When they go to do it, it's going to look like it's 1. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's just for X amount of dollars of the whole amount, even though I really don't have the proceeds from the whole amount. If that makes sense. I don't understand that side of it. I don't ask that many questions because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I get the position thing and I understand all of this, but like for me, it's like, well, it's just a note I have to pay. So, no, they were like, okay, this is where we're gonna be. When they're discussing it with me, they're talking second position for the EDA is because their other notes are collectively first position. So they wouldn't want yours wedged in between there.
I get it.
Because the second note that we're in here discussing about, that has the potential to be more than twice the amount of the note that's currently there, if that makes sense. Because there's a note there that's like 200, and then there's another note that's like or the line of credit is like 475 or whatever. And then there's like another line of credit, but just so that you guys understand, all those things are tied to other properties within this city. I just don't hold notes on those properties. Does that make sense?
So they're an investment.
Correct. Yeah, so like,
So you have ownership of this and then partnerships per se, investments in the others.
no, so like the Dick Shop, I own that. Nothing against it.
Right, he used cash from a different building to buy it.
But I used cash
Gotcha.
from this building to buy it,
Gotcha.
right? So that the deals were clean and, you know, because at the end of the day, I don't want to have to prove that I'm going to have a tenant in there that's making the payment. When I have a tenant in this building over here that does make the payment. So it's much easier for me to just pull against that property.
Anything else from everybody? Tim?
You know, like I said, it's up to you guys. You know, if you want to do a special meeting and get more input, we can. Otherwise, if you have a feeling one way or the other, you know, to Mr. Alonso's point, you know, do you want to adjust the interest rate or not? Because if you do, then it sounds like he's going to look at other options. If we're not going to, then, you know, we can call a special meeting and get the other members of the EDA, you know, hopefully, to participate. And I don't think it would be a long meeting. Potentially, it could be half hour. And if it works during lunch, we can do it during lunch or something like that. You know, if we consider the MBT position to just be one position, you know, and then we can call ourselves taking the second position, I guess that's going to be easier to justify to the city council than if we're saying we're taking a third position.
Right.
Which is what we ended up taking with the chaotic good brewing, which is where, you know, you're going to lose
I think we were in fourth, weren't we?
No.
third
Technically
or fourth,
third.
something like that. I mean, it's Smith and it's the bank, and then I don't know if SBA had some loans too, or
Say I thought.
it was not that's a convoluted situation there, so.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like, yeah, like basically you've got the bank and whether they filed it as one or two mortgages together, you have a singular secured party.
Right.
Yeah.
One, we're not inserting,
Yeah.
like, I would feel pretty differently if like People's Energy Cooperative or,
Somebody else.
somebody else was trying to then.
With the
insert
bank, them and
a second additional party
Yeah.
was trying to now insert in. I would feel quite a bit more uncomfortable with entering an additional party in.
Sure.
Because now in the case of a liquidation, you've now entered an additional set of legal and other holding costs that we've got to deal with that are going to take away from any proceeds.
Yeah.
In this case, even if you've got two documents out there, it's still one set of.
The bank, yeah.
Yeah.
One set of costs that we're dealing with. That helps. But, yeah, I mean, it is a goofy thing where we, in-house, you know, depending on how you file the documents, you could, sometimes we refer, you could refer to it as, you know, we're a first secured party, but our documents are first and second in terms of the documents themselves. So even though we're a singular creditor, we might have more than one instrument that have different orders. But like I've dealt with, you know, bankruptcy and foreclosure scenarios where honestly, you kind of just lump them all. The attorney's like, well, just send me all of them, you know, and then they just kind of go through and like, well, I can grab this
Sure.
and that.
I mean, I guess that's the biggest key. I'm not concerned about that aspect of it. I just want to make sure that, you know, and we're doing our due diligence today. Like you said, we're doing it live.
I'd ask.
Instead of in committee or something like that. I'm comfortable with proceeding with it, you know, as requested. You know, I think the goal would be to make sure that we don't maybe do loans of that size in the future, because obviously it does take up a huge percentage of the portfolio, the cash that we have on hand. And this may have been a special circumstance. It was 10 years ago, so I don't know.
It was one of those at the time the EDA had the money and there was no businesses in town that were looking, that were needing it, and it was a perfect fit at the time.
Yeah.
And it's still a good fit, don't get me wrong. So,
That's
I
kinda
guess,
where I'm going to is, you
Yep.
know, originally we were second position. It's the same situation
Yes.
now.
and,
I know we're gun shy because of Chaotic Good, and I think that was kind of its own beast.
yeah, I think so, but you always gotta, that's always gonna weigh on you, no matter.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, again, I always look at it, and I'll say this, and I've said it before, it's not my money, it's the taxpayers' money. I mean, we're lending their money in hopes that we're expanding the city and helping businesses grow. And past history, your business has been spot on as far as, so that makes a big difference too. You know, that really makes, and I don't think we'll need a special meeting.
Okay.
No, I think we're fine.
No, I mean, we can answer any questions if others show, I think, you know.
Well, we have it on video.
I mean, we have it on video. You know what I mean?
If there are any questions,
and
we've talked a lot of different options.
Everybody's
so-
time is valuable too, I think, you know.
Okay, well,
So-
sounds like you need a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. I would make the motion to go ahead with the subordination
As requested?
as requested.
All right.
You know,
Are there
I
any
mean-
other documents or anything else you'd like to see? You know, obviously, we can move forward with that, but then for the council meeting,
I
maybe
would
have
like,
questions.
yeah, that Ian to send that document with
Report.
the, yeah.
All right.
Just so we got it, so there's more. He's seen it, you've seen it, so we
I
know
haven't
it's,
seen it, but
okay,
yeah.
but, so we know it's there, but, you know, after talking with you, Joe, it's made,
I appreciate that.
so.
I do. I really appreciate. Well,
Said you just saw
waiting for the.
But
second.
yeah, you just gotta see us. You know, we gotta ask all these questions, we gotta have this discussion, we can't just,
Yeah,
you know,
understandable.
it's-
Yeah, for sure.
So you look for a second.
yeah, so I'd look for a second on
A
that.
second.
We have first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And
I abstain.
abstains, yeah.
All right.
All right. So,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
For your time.
So hopefully, if something like this comes up again in the future, we'll get a little more notice, so we have a little more time to. at
Well,
least-
you know, I mean, you
I
gotta
mean,
talk to
the-
MBT, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's nobody's.
It really,
Who's gone? I don't know.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was like, why is this such a big deal? And then Ian filled me in. He's like, it just says sign this.
Yeah. So we gotta have, you know,
Well, that's not. But maybe he assumed they lost a person that was
Sure.
there for a while that did things a little differently, and
Sure.
you know, so they're reeling from that as well. So I.
so then that just added to our little discussion too, where we're a little even more
Like,
confused. and-
honestly, I was like, is this a scam? I had
And,
that thought.
and if I can still request that you send me that
Yeah,
ham when you do have it.
Of course.
Okay, all right. Thanks, everybody.
you.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Sounds like, because, yeah, was that from Don Bastian originally?
I didn't hear anything from the bank, honestly. It was like whoever's handling the closing, like their
Oh,
law
their
firm was
closing.
like, here,
said,
sign
"Here,
this
sign this."
subordination agreement.
Well, I saw it was Ole.
Yeah.
Ole Law.
Yeah.
That's,
And I was like,
so that makes us a little more
can I
nervous.
please have a
Oh,
bit
yeah,
of
that's
context?
kind of, okay. They're just,
So,
just
yeah.
go ahead and send, yeah, just go ahead and
Then
sign.
sign this. and-
I don't know, I don't know what the problem is.
I was like,
All right, so we'll go ahead and we kind of ate up most of our meeting, so we'll kind of speed it up a
Yeah,
little.
that's right.
Yeah.
Why don't we just run through what we've got here?
Finance report, that should be a quick one.
Any questions? You saw sorry, I guess didn't print out the full financial reports I thought that I had. But you do have them all electronically. And I did share, let's see, a little update about the chaotic goods situation. They're having an auction for the property
That's
a
pretty
week
simple.
from today.
And I knew it was soon.
We'll see what comes out of that. Maybe some finality, if anything. So, but just to give you an update, that's where
Maybe somebody will buy it and reopen a business there,
anyone's interested.
you know, renovate it to something else.
Back into
options.
the car wash.
Pete's Ranch, right? You know, he's got a $475,000 line of
Yeah, I
credit.
know.
But that location will not
A
work,
good
Tim.
bid.
It will not, there's no parking.
It seems like a good fit. No, you're
No
right. There's no
parking,
parking.
Tim.
You're right. I didn't think, that wouldn't be the location.
That's a
I'm just saying.
That is, he did say he has a,
He
he
was
has a
very-
situation on the,
I know.
look at that, that's a
Yeah,
good
see?
point.
So, all right.
Yeah, I'm not in the
Okay.
mix on this stuff. I don't know what he's looking at.
We'll sneak through your coordinator's report, highlight it.
Yeah, just I shared a couple of reports from Reddy and Smith. Just a few different things there. Let's see, the Reddy report. I thought the interesting part of that was just the ranking of all the different cities that participate. And we were in a close third, just behind Byron and Stewartville. It seemed like we were dinged, I guess, on commuting times, but that's not really something that we can't like
I
physically.
thought that was a little high. I don't know. I've been
Can't,
downtown
like-
20 minutes too before. I don't know. I've been to St.
Yeah, I
Mary's.
know, that's-
It depends on the lights in Byron, but
I can make downtown.
yeah. But I mean, it's good to see.
I can
that
make
we're
downtown for
competitive-
Pine Island in
we're
20
competitive
minutes.
at least there, so that's good.
I feel like I've been to St. Mary's none. I feel like I've gotten there in 16 minutes. I don't know.
There's days I think that Ready doesn't quite give us enough bang for a buck.
Well,
but
that was one of the reasons they sent this report.
Yeah,
To be
yep.
perfectly honest, and not to step
Yeah.
on your toes, Ian.
Oh, go ahead.
But we did meet with them, and actually all the cities that are involved in it met
Yeah.
with them and did like a shindig. I know, Tom, you were out of town that day, or you were at a golf tournament, I think, actually.
Probably, I don't
Yeah.
know, both.
But anyway, it was
Still.
a fun
Tournament out of
meeting,
town.
and, it was really, really like, it was like Minnesota nice until like the last 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And I said, we really need you guys to generate more for us, because, I mean, I said, it was nice 2 years ago, we did this event, this housing
Summit.
symposium, and I said, whether you actually, whether you have business links to us or something, you can give us great or not, but you gotta do something, like an event or something that's
Yeah.
tangible. And then as soon as I said that, like,
Al
Al from
Robertson.
Byron and Bill from Stewartville and Elizabeth from Pine Island were like the
Yeah.
exact same thing. They're like,
Yeah.
they just wanted somebody else to
we
say it
like
first.
talking every
Kick it
month. Well, right. It was like I said. It was like nobody wanted to break the ice until I did, and I wasn't mad about it. I just said, because with all this EDA stuff we do, it's not always tangible, right? I know that. Like we could sit for an hour every month and not do anything, and not generate anything. I wish we would, but it's hard. A lot of the city stuff I do doesn't always generate stuff. But like for them, they got to at least do an event, at
Yes.
least put a framework together, or do a symposium, or talk about data centers, or do something. So I mean, after that, then they were like, well, we got all this information to share, and so they sent this report out, kind of to share with everybody. And I mean, I'm glad they did, because that's the kind of stuff that they can do. They can get the data collection we can't do. I don't have the access to do that stuff. But sorry, Ian. I don't know if you have anything
No,
else.
that was fine. Yeah, and then just the Smith report you've got there, and then just a couple of things that I was planning on doing coming up this fall. I included it in the previous month's packet, but there's a conference by the University of Minnesota coming up in September that I would like to attend. I've attended previous iterations of the same conference elsewhere, and I always found it pretty valuable. So I'd like to attend it again. And then there's, in addition to that, a course about real estate development and reuse in October that I would like to complete that course. I've taken courses through the IEDC, the International Economic Development Council, and through them in the past. They always include so much information, and that one does give me credit towards a certification as a certified economic developer.
Two things on that.
Yes.
One, we need pricing anytime you want those. It's not in our report.
Wasn't it in the report?
I don't see it. And two, is it in our budget?
It is in the budget. I was
It
about
is
to
in the
say, It is
budget.
budgeted.
But those are the two things we're going to ask every time. So if you can just put that in your report right away, so you don't have to
There
look it
should
up.
have been attachments.
I don't.
Well, it's not in the package you printed.
Yeah, it's not in the packet you printed. So, no.
Uh,
And those are, we're going to ask you that every time. So,
Yep. Let's see.
especially I am, anyways.
Yes, yes. Let me just scroll down here. Okay, past all of the Reddy and Smith reports. Let's see. The Connecting Entrepreneurial Communities Conference, the U of M one. The early bird rate is $125 for the registration. So that's just the registration itself. It wouldn't include like lodging and other things like that. And then the course, the IEDC course, the early bird rate as a member is $535.
Is that the one in Mankato?
That one's online.
So you don't have housing or lodging for that one.
Right. Yep. And if I scroll back all the way up to the top, let's see. We talk about the budget for different items. Let's see.
I think it's covered.
Yeah, there
Okay.
weren't.
I think we have $1,000 for professional development for him.
Okay. All right. So you're looking for some
I think
kind
he's
of,
looking for a motion to recommend approval of the council for those.
got a motion? Do we got a
Second.
second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, but for future reference, if we could put that in
Printed version. Yep.
Yes. It's just,
Kill the trees.
I know.
it's just easier for us,
Trying
you
to
know.
save paper when we got all these pages.
I know. I
but-
really didn't want to kill all of the trees.
But, you know,
But,
just saves you
yes.
from having to try to find it, and
Of course. Of course.
it's just one of those I'm going to make sure I ask every time.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just jump in. I don't really have a lot to add. We had a good audit result this year. The city's financial performance was strong, and EDA's was as well, aside from the risk we take in the loan portfolio, which is what it is. So, and then I'll move down into that second half. We did have the second half request from Ready for their funding. I mean, we don't see a reason not to. I mean, we said we'd do it this year, and once again, like we've talked to them and had that meeting, and you know, hopefully they'll continue to have more tangible results for us. But it is budgeted for this year, so.
Well, and I don't have a problem, you know, because we said we'd do it, but
Right.
obviously if we don't get some more bang for our buck next year, I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice that we got this little bit of thing they printed up, but we shouldn't have had to ask for that. In my mind, that should have just been an automatic.
Right.
You know, for the money we're spending, show us. Granted, I know that not everything you can do is going to benefit us, but at least tell us that you're working on it.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, we have to at least do some events or something, because if
Show
you're not
that
doing
you-
that, then, I mean, what's the point? Like, just talking online for a couple hours a month isn't really
Yeah.
worth it.
Hopefully that conversation helps.
Because
I mean,
I could spend that money elsewhere.
Well, we're in the same boat as everybody else. I mean, like, obviously, some cities are getting, I mean, like, Stewartville's getting a few more industrial projects, partly because they're on the freeway.
Right.
That's really what benefits them the most. But Byron's in the same boat. Al's complaining about how he doesn't have a good downtown as Casson does. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Well, they technically don't
worry
really have
about
a
it too
downtown.
much, Al. We can all complain, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think we're looking for a motion to approve that.
Okay, I would make that motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. We're gonna just skip over other business for right now. If you got any, we can add it to next month, since we're running a little late. So any items for September? Got nothing right now. If nothing else, let Ian know.
All right.
I guess with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We got a motion, do we get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you, everybody.
Okay, that was bullshit. I'm just going to say that was